This just started here at Texas Southern University. It's a short walk they're going to make, just 3 minutes or so to the Student Center. Entergy reports more than 5,000 customers without power tonight, about 1,200. Companies put logos on their vehicles for identification and advertising purposes. This is the truck with the Channel 13 logo that we're in tonight. While she's not a trained therapy horse, Beautiful, as she's called, has provided plenty of therapy. She was locked behind this gate. The latest tragedy happened here along the feeder road of the East Freeway near Channelview Tuesday night.
People have more access to it because more is flowing in.
It seems like whenever I used it, I knew it was going to be a problem for me.
And it becomes a hellish cycle that you just get caught up into. They become monsters on meth.
That's when it got scary.
In the sleazy underworld that is the methamphetamine trade, traffickers are getting more creative.
It can be put in different types of containers, such as drinking bottles or water bottles.
No longer is meth being moved only in crystal or powder form. Liquid meth is on the rise.
It's very concealable, it's easy to get across that way, and we're seeing a dramatic increase in the liquid methamphetamine coming into Texas and specifically the Houston area.
Dissolved in the solution to be later converted for sale and use, it's sealed in bottles. And in this bust, just over the Texas-Louisiana border, October 16th, candles. This 19-year-old from Houston was arrested 2 weeks earlier. 34-year-old Vanessa Hernandez, also from Houston, was accused of trying to smuggle $700,000 worth of the liquid in soda bottles in her suitcase. It is flooding the market.
Methamphetamine is now in the Houston region considered the #1 drug threat.
Grabbing hold of people.
I couldn't tell you how it went wrong.
Like Shannon Manus.
If you'd have told me 20 years ago that I would be sitting in a 2-year rehab and been in and out of jails for the last 15 years, I would have said you were crazy.
Shannon has collected mugshots over the years while losing everything else. Her kids, her home, herself.
The last 15 years has been a fog.
At 43, she's doing her second stint in rehab and avoiding prison.
I would say it's the most popular at this time.
Steve Reeves is a reentry counselor for Senecor, a substance abuse treatment center in Deer Park. He knows the appeal of meth.
You become obsessed with it.
Because he has been in recovery for 20 years.
It keeps you high longer, and it's cheaper.
In fact, with the proliferation of the liquid, the supply is higher, which makes the prices even lower. And if you don't think it affects you, the Bureau of Justice says 20% of crime, like burglaries, robberies, and theft, is drug-related.
It does affect average citizens.
The DEA has put a priority on intercepting the liquid well before traffickers can convert it to crystal or powder in dangerous cookhouses. Authorities say it's impossible to know how much has slipped through, but Shannon Manus,
It's been a while since I've seen it.
hopes to never see it or her old self again.
I'm very excited about my future.
Jessica Willey, 13, Eyewitness News. Yeah, Gina, one investigator told me Benjamin Barron knows so much about stealing identities. It's scary. He was arrested here today at the courthouse while in court facing similar charges.
I'm not aware of what the charges are yet.
Though he played dumb after being arrested, Benjamin Barron is said to be really smart. A computer security expert whom investigators say used his expertise to gather sensitive personal information in order to make fake IDs and access thousands of dollars worth of credit.
The problem with it is it lasts for so long.
Carol Stretfield is one of more than 24 victims. Her laptop was stolen from her home last summer, and on it, information Houston police believe Barron used to open credit card accounts. The identities of her husband, son, and employees were all compromised, but according to court records, Barron started here at his ex-wife's home last July. He's accused of breaking in to steal her credit card as she and their 3 children slept.
No comment.
Barron had nothing to say as he was taken to jail. It will be his second stay there in 5 months. Last time, investigators believe he simply remembered the names of 7 jailers and once out on bond, victimized them.
Once somebody knows how to do this and they start doing it, they'll probably go as long as they can. That's what greed is like.
And actually, those who know Barron say he was funding a serious drug addiction. He could face more charges and tonight is being held in jail without bond. Live tonight at the Harris County Criminal Courthouse downtown, Jessica Willey, 13 Eyewitness News. It seems like a lifetime ago, but yes, I'm a former rower for the Boston University crew team, and we have some pictures for you to prove it. I rowed the stroke position near the coxswain, which means I helped to set the pace for the boat. The sport made quite an impression on me, and Rice's crew team hopes by moving closer to town, they can build their team as well as the sport's presence here in Houston. Even before the sun comes up, illuminating Houston's skyline, Rice's rowing team is already out and rigging their boats.
It's a large commitment.
Practice starts at 5:30, 5 days a week, so they can be on the water by 6. And that's a luxury, made possible by this new home for Rice's co-ed club rowing team.
Keep it overhead.
Initially, it was a little scary.
Just 2 containers to store their boats and a dock on Buffalo Bayou east of downtown, but they are thrilled.
It's absolutely gorgeous. We have amazing straightaways of water that we can row in.
It's always calm, it's protected. We're the only ones, so we kind of own the entire place.
It's a huge step forward for the team as it hopes for growth from a mere 2 members 4 years ago to 20 now. They used to row on Clear Lake.
We were looking at roughly 30 to 45 minutes each way.
Now they can use that time for longer practices, and they hope the visibility helps too.
I would love to see a permanent installation, whether that's backed by private funding, that's backed by Rice, just something that's there so the public can make use of it.
We're gonna do a power 10 once we pass that barge.
For coaches Mike Matson and David Alviar, this is almost like a second job, instilling their love for the lesser-known sport, one that combines strength and finesse in others.
It's a great team sport. The team's great, fun group of guys and girls.
And now with the Houston skyline as scenery,
we have just our run of the waterway. It's fantastic.
they hope it's even more appealing.
You get out there and it's quiet. You can hear the sound of the water going beneath the boat. It's a really serene kind of feeling.
And with the revitalization of Buffalo Bayou, they envision a public rowing center as well as a real boathouse for them. But of course, it takes money. If you'd like more information, you can go to their website, rowforrice.com. You can learn more about the team as well as this crazy 27,000-mile row that the coaches are doing across the Atlantic next year. HPD released its crime clearance rates, basically how many crimes are solved each year. But what got our attention is how many aren't solved.
I came back to everything was gone.
Struggling from the burglary that wiped her out.
The TVs, my kids' video games, their clothes, my clothes, everything, my laptop.
Margaret Galvan and her 4 children had to move into her grandmother's house.
I was grateful that she did take me back in.
She had hoped her crime would be solved, but it's been 2 years.
I would at least give it like 3-4 months at the most, since they had fingerprints and everything and nothing.
Margaret is one of thousands of burglary victims in Houston who never get justice. In fact, over the last 5 years, HPD has solved just 8% of burglaries, and the clearance rate is dropping, lower every year since 2010. In Houston, there's a burglary every 22 minutes. That's 65 every day, but only 5 of them will ever be solved.
It's just reality.
And it's even worse for people whose cars are stolen. Just 6% of those crimes are solved. That means just 2 cases cleared of the 36 cars stolen every day in Houston.
It just doesn't happen when you have limited resources.
If Houston Police Officer Union President Ray Hunt seems matter-of-fact about the data, it's because it's no surprise. The low clearance rates for crimes that affect more people throughout our city are the direct result, he says, of staffing, and HPD needs at least 1,500 more officers.
We just don't have the manpower to put that many boots on the ground for every single type of crime, so we have to focus our resources on the most serious offenses.
Last year, HPD did clear more murders and rapes than the national average. Aggravated assaults and robberies, though, were below. But that still doesn't help this single mother whose case now seems lost.
They have other cases to deal with before they deal with mine.
And in response, HPD told us for an agency its size, it's impossible for them to investigate every single incident reported, and that crimes against people take priority over property crimes. An assistant chief did sound the alarm about staffing to city council last week. Live tonight near downtown, Jessica Willey, 13 Eyewitness News. The rain came so quickly and was so heavy that the new underpass at the Grand Parkway and FM 1093 just filled up.
Never seen 99 like this before.
In less than a half hour, more than a dozen cars were stranded, some by mud.
My car got stuck in the mud, and I hope that my car doesn't fall back and get flooded.
others by water.
I got stuck right there in the middle. And after that, a couple cars went by. The waves pushed my car forward and I was able to get out. Wait for my car to, I guess, engine to dry up, and it works now, so I got lucky.
Fort Bend County Sheriff's deputies waded in to check cars and help frighten drivers to higher ground. Cody Brown, who works nearby,
I looked out the window and it was just sheets of rain. It was crazy.
Was one of a handful of people who came out to help.
I saw these guys stranded and thought I better give them a lift.
The water was cold and drivers were just caught off guard.
It just came out of nowhere.